Good evening. This is a video for the people who are not willing, basically, to recognise the geoengineering programs, the damage that they're doing to the environment, and the things that are actually happening at the moment. I mean, I cannot understand your philosophy. This is for the people that refuse to believe in the geoengineering programs. I cannot believe your philosophy. I cannot believe that you're not concerned for yourselves. If you're not concerned for yourselves, you should be very concerned for your children. Have you any idea of the damage that these geoengineering programs are causing to the ecosystem? Really? You don't know? Let me explain to you. Aluminium, barium and strontium are being dropped in the chemtrails hundreds of million tons worldwide each year. Every second of every single day. Every single civilian airline company are involved in these programs. Please do not misunderstand this. Every one of them. Every single airline is involved because the Civil Aviation Authority are complicitly involved, and every single aircraft has been retrofitted to spray persistent chemical trails over the whole world, including the United Kingdom, Europe, America, you name the country, they're being sprayed. You're being systematically sprayed like bugs with barium, strontium, lithium, plutonium, uranium, mercury. The list goes on forever. I simply haven't got the time to fucking explain all of these fucking things to you. You need to understand that the radioactive particles, barium, strontium, strontium-90, uranium, plutonium, lithium, every single one of these nanoparticulates, which by the way get into your skin, into your bloodstream, attack your white blood cells, shut down the mitochondrial DNA that's being produced in there, weakening your immune systems. They cause every single known cancer. Cancer, you need to understand another thing, is not a fucking disease. Cancer is a condition which is initiated from the outside source. And that outside source is the radioactive elements that are being sprayed in the chemtrails, getting into your bloodstream, causing mutations in your cells, which then start to form cancer. Here's another thing. 5G towers. Now 5G towers put out microwave radiation. Microwave radiation damages your DNA. It gets into your brain and it causes brain tumours. Nice. Another thing, aluminium gets into the woman's bloodstream when she's pregnant. Don't forget that the woman's blood is being fed along with all the nutrients in her body, the stuff she eats, everything she drinks, it feeds the baby. That aluminium is in her bloodstream and is going into the baby's bloodstream. That gets into the baby's brain. And you know what that does? It initiates autism. Autism is not a disease. It is not genetic or anything else. It's been in the family every 4 or 5 generations. We have a child who's autistic. Absolutely fucking not. It is caused by aluminium in the fucking chemtrails. Aluminium is the initiator for all autism. These babies are born with autism. As soon as they come into the world, their whole life is screwed because of the stuff that they're spraying. All you have to do, look, just imagine that, this is a mobile phone. You like this all fucking day, yeah? Like this, text, call. Put it down, like this, look, onto the table, or wherever you are, in your pocket. Look up to the fucking sky and see what they're spraying on you every day. You don't have to be fucking a genius to fucking work that out. You just look up and you see it. That's all you have to do. Acceptance is the first step in the line of you understanding what they're doing to you every single fucking day. Put your phones down. Look up. If somebody said to me, I had no idea about geoengineering, and they said to me, look, geoengineering is killing the whole ecosystem. It's destroying everything. Everything's dying. The trees are dying. Yeah? Our oceans are dying. The coral reefs are dying. We've lost 44% of phytoplankton in the ocean. If you don't know what phytoplankton are, I'll explain to you what they are. They're the plankton that are in the upper levels of the ocean. They provide us with more oxygen than all plants and trees combined worldwide. We've lost 44% of them in the last 22 years. If we lose all of the phytoplankton in the ocean, it will cut down our oxygen supply by 76.85%. Now, do you think you can breathe that oxygen? No. And you're not willing to accept that they're doing this. You're not willing to try and do something to stop them, like I'm doing, and like a lot of my friends do, like Robert Scott does on the Watching Reserve 76. This guy knows what he's talking about. Chemtrails UK, all of the other anti-geoengineering websites, they're doing a fantastic job under a lot of pressure because people are not willing to look up and understand these programs. I mean, you need to wake up. You need to look up. You need to research stratospheric geoengineering, Project Indigo Skyfold, run by Dr. David Keith, the mad scientist, who has turned around and said, we have no idea what geoengineering will do to the planet, to the ecosystem. We have no idea what stratospheric geoengineering will do to the atmosphere, because they're damaging the atmosphere, they're damaging the ozone layer, which I'll go into in a minute. We have no idea of what stratospheric geoengineering will do to all biological life, including you, your children, and your babies. Now that is the guy that's running these programs, and that is truly bloody terrifying. If you don't see that as a frightening statement from the guy who's responsible for running these insane programs, the geoengineering programs, the solar radiation management programs, and what solar radiation management is they're covering the sky in clouds. They're stopping the sunlight from coming to the earth. Do you know what sunlight does for you? What does sunlight provide, apart from a suntan, yeah? To make you look nice, yeah? Because all you fuckers care about is, oh, I look nice and brown, blah, blah, blah. It provides you with vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely vital for your immune system. If you don't get enough vitamin D, your immune system's going to be fucking shot. And what that means is you're going to be susceptible to all sorts of diseases and infections. Plus the fact that aluminium is destroying your white blood cells, which are also vital for your immune system. So what this means, what this entails, is the sun is not reaching the earth like it used to, the sunlight. We are receiving 25% less sunlight than we were 20 years ago. That means 25% less vitamin D. So wake up and look up. Put your phones down, look to the sky and see what they're doing. How was your summer this year? How do I think about that? How was my summer? In Bournemouth. Yeah? On the fucking Riviera of the South Coast. I'll tell you how my summer was. It was totally fucking horrendous. We had hardly any hot, long summer days. Maybe 1 or 2 days, and then we'd have a week of crap again. Look on a website. SatRadar24. Satellite infrared images of the United Kingdom and Ireland. Click onto it, click onto the image, and see the crap that's coming across. And if you think for 1 second that any of that cloud structure, any of those weather systems are natural, then you are very, very wrong indeed. None of them are natural. All of that cloud that comes across our country now is stratospheric geoengineering that was sprayed the night before to cover the country in cloud. The stratospheric geoengineering programs are there for one reason, and I'll state this one reason, and I'll state another reason in a minute. The first reason is to reduce the amount of sunlight you get, to basically diminish your vitamin D, to weaken your immune system. The second reason that they're doing this, that they're covering the whole sky with these stratospheric geoengineered clouds, and that's what they are, okay? They are chemtrail clouds, chemical cirrus clouds. They're not real clouds at all. So don't be fooled when you look up at the sky and you see a cloud. No, it's not. It's a chemical cloud. And they spray this stuff, and all of the sulfates, all of the aluminium, strontium, barium, lithium, plutonium, uranium, mercury, iron oxide, silver iodide, all the nasty stuff they're spraying, we all know what gravity is. We all know the laws of gravity, yes? What goes up must come down. Sir Isaac Newton saw the apple drop off the tree, yeah? And it fell to the ground. It's gravity. So what happens to the shit they're spraying in the sky? All comes down. And you, your children, your family, your friends, your babies, they are all breathing this in every single second of every single day. You need to understand this. Don't you ever dare turn around to me and say that geoengineering is not happening. Geoengineering is a recognised program. You can research it on the internet. They admit to it, okay? What they don't admit to, however, are the detrimental effects. The reason that it's causing Alzheimer's. Yes? It's causing Parkinson's disease. It's causing Down syndrome, trisomy 21, genetic chromosome disorder, Lou Gehrig's, autism, cancers, every single one, brain cancer, leukemia, every cancer that you can think of, that shit that they're spraying is causing. Yeah, and you're not worried about that. You're not worried that your children are going to have to breathe this shit in for the rest of their lives when you're dead and gone. And their children, I'll tell you what, will be very lucky if we have 2 more generations. If these programs continue to accelerate the way they are, the ecosystem will no longer be able to cope with the influx of poisonous, horrific chemicals that are being put into the ground soil, which, by the way, are killing all the bacteria in the ground soil. What do you think bacteria do? Do you think they're just there for no reason? You all know what photosynthesis is, yes? Bacteria take in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. Phytoplankton in the ocean give us more oxygen than all the trees and plants in the world combined. If the bacteria in the ground soil dies, we've already lost nearly half of the phytoplankton in the ocean. If we lose the rest of it and the bacteria in the soil die, there'll be no bacteria to carry on the normal processes that are needed for plant life to be successful, okay? Plus the fact that if they die, we lose all that oxygen. The insects are in massive decline. Bees. Now here's something you might not know, and maybe you could do a little bit of research and enlighten yourselves. Well, I'm going to enlighten you now. Bees navigate by ultraviolet light, and because the solar radiation which is reaching the Earth now is so high, they are literally being blinded. We all know that aluminium causes Parkinson's, Alzheimer's and autism. Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are two degenerative brain disorders where old people lose their memory. It used to affect adults at 80 years old. That was 25 years ago. Now, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's is affecting adults at 48 to 50. Now, is that a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen? No, it is not a coincidence. There is a direct correlation to what they're spraying and how it's affecting all biological life. Bees have a brain as well. It may not be as complex as a human brain, but it's still a complex brain. It still has the same neurons firing. Yeah, everything, all the chemical reactions, the neurons firing to work the muscles, the neurons are firing to work the visual cortex of the bee so they can navigate properly. The amount of solar radiation should be a lot less so they can navigate quite well. It doesn't harm them. But they're being blinded because radiation is so high now at ground level. Ultraviolet B should be 5%. It's not. It's 48.65%. Ultraviolet C, which are X-rays, should never be present at ground level. Our ionosphere, or ozone layer, if you don't understand what an ionosphere is, the ozone layer, you know, this thing that protects us from the fucking sun, yeah? Ultraviolet C should never ever reach ground level. Our ionosphere, the ozone layer, should prevent all ultraviolet C radiation from reaching the ground level. But you know what? It should be 0. It isn't. It's 8.76%. This is why the bees are getting blinded. The aluminium is getting into their brains and it's causing confusion in their brains exactly the same as it does with adults, okay? It causes them to have Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. They get confused, they get lost and they die. Yeah, this is killing the bees. We've lost 63.45% of the bee populations worldwide in the last 30 years. If that doesn't terrify you, I don't know what does. Because you understand that bees pollinate flowers, plants, vegetables, trees, everything. Absolutely everything. Mosquitoes do the same thing. If you weren't aware of that, mosquitoes are also vitally important. You think they just fly around and fucking bite you for the fun of it? No, they have an important role to do in the ecosystem. They pollinate flowers and plants as well. This research that has been done by the world's most eminent entomologists are people that study insects, by the way, if you weren't aware of that. I just thought I'd let you know. An entomologist is a person that studies insects. The world's most eminent entomologists have come up with a conclusion that if these programs continue and accelerate and do not stop and are not stopped, then all insect populations within the next 15 to 20 years will die. Every single insect on the earth. Insects play one of the most important roles in our ecosystem. If we lose the insects, we lose the pollination, we lose the flies, the bloat flies, the blue bottles, the green bottles. The flies actually land on dead carcasses and basically lay their eggs, and maggots will eat that dead flesh so we don't have any disease spread everywhere. Yeah, if they die, what's going to happen? Have a quick think about that one, ladies and gents. There'll be fucking dead carcasses lying all over the place. There'll be nothing to fucking break that down. And disease and infection will be a fucking epidemic worldwide. See, you don't understand how the simplest little thing in the ecosystem can collapse. And just one little thing can have an exponential effect all the way through the ecosystem. Now, HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, they're called ionospheric heaters. Look up HAARP, Alaska. Look up HAARP and see what it's doing. It's supposed to be an atmospheric facility to study the atmosphere. It's not. It's a weather weapon. HAARP has 180 high frequency and low frequency and microwave radiation antenna. These are used in conjunction with the chemtrails to put direct and specific radio frequencies into the weather systems that they formed to form whatever they want. They can actually form a hurricane. Now, with the radio frequency, they can put another radio frequency into that hurricane, and they can steer that hurricane anywhere they want. For example, Texas. How do you think that hurricane appeared? How about the one heading towards California now? Do you think that these events are natural events? No, they are not natural events. HAARP can also direct its 1 billion watts of power, throw a shitload of microwave radiation up into the ionosphere, bounce it back down into the Earth's fault lines. The fault lines are the things that tectonic plates drop together, yeah? You have the Pacific Ring of Fire. You've got all the volcanoes and all the earthquake zones that run around the Earth. It's called the Pacific Ring of Fire. They blast that microwave radiation back down into the Earth's fault lines to create earthquakes on land and in the ocean. You create an earthquake in the ocean, what do you get? A tsunami. You got it. Smack on. How about the Indonesian tsunami? How do you think that happened? Killing 170,000 fucking people. Yeah? Even though around Indonesia, they have numerous, dozens and dozens of sonar warning buoys, or buoys if you're in America, because we say it differently here in England. Okay? These warning buoys, or buoys, are put there for the specific purpose to pick up vibrations on the ocean, in the ocean, and on the ocean floor. So if an earthquake happens, these buoys or buoys pick it up, send that information back to the Indonesian scientists, and these people pick up that, and they know that there's been an earthquake, and they can probably ascertain by that information that there's a high probability of a tsunami. Now, when this tsunami happened in Indonesia that killed 170,000 people, there were no warning tremors. Anybody that's studied anything to do with the Earth's fault lines and tectonics know for a fact that earthquakes always have warning tremors. This particular event had none. Zero. Bang, it was there. All of a sudden. It never happens like that. And I'll tell you why it happened. Because HAARP initiated that earthquake, and HAARP initiated that tsunami, which killed 170,000 people. HAARP is a weather weapon. As simple as that. It can create tornadoes. It can create any weather anomaly it wants. All they have to do is turn the fucking switch to direct a specific radio frequency into a specific weather system that they have initiated and steer it towards any landmass they want. It is a very simple way to basically get rid and kill a lot of people very easily without any oversight, without any responsibility being. No fingers being pointed at anybody, because it was a natural thing. Hurricanes happen. Earthquakes happen. Yes, they do, when they fucking initiate it themselves. You need to understand it. Start doing some bloody research. Stop being a sheep and wake up. When you look up at the sky, yeah, and you see a chemtrail, what do you really think it is? Do you think it's a contrail? Here's a bit of engineering for you. Every single civilian airliner, jet, uses a turbofan called a high bypass turbofan. High bypass turbofans has been specifically engineered and designed not to produce any destructive emissions. It is physically and mechanically impossible for these engines to produce any contrails whatsoever. That's a fact. Look up high bypass turbofans and why they do not ever produce contrails. All you see are chemtrails. These are not fucking chemical trails coming out of the engines. These are chemical trails coming out of pipes in the wings that have been retrofitted to these aircraft, which get into the exhaust system of the aircraft and spread them out. It'll start nice and thin, and then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and spread all the way across the whole fucking sky. This is why you've had such a shit summer. This is why every time you look up to the sky, excuse me, and see that we're covered in cloud, those clouds will look the same every single bloody time. Why do clouds always look the same? We have no natural weather systems anymore. Are you that comfortable with ignorance? Can you not be bothered to look up? I mean, why? Why can you not accept it? Why can you not accept that chemtrails are a real phenomena? That stratospheric geoengineering is a real program, a recognised program, okay? It's been recognised, it's been admitted to. For fuck's sake, wake up, look up. Do some research before you start leaving stupid comments. on our websites, and on our pages on Facebook, and on my YouTube channel, on Robert Scott's YouTube channel. Fucking trolls everywhere, yeah? I know your agenda. You're not going to fucking beat us. We're here to spread information. We're here to spread awareness, and you will never shut us down. You need to start doing research. You need to start looking into this, because your children need to know about this. It is your responsibility as an adult and as a parent to inform your children of the truth about these programs and what it's doing to the ecosystem and what it's doing to their health. There will come a time when there'll be so much of this shit raining down, we'll have to wear respirators. We'll have to wear something to protect us, to stop us breathing this shit in. I know that they're so small, they're nanoparticulates. A nanometer, here's a bit more science for you if you didn't understand that. I don't know how much notice you took at what the fucking teachers told you at school, but a nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. You can only see these fucking things under an electron microscope. They are so fucking small. These things get into your skin. We can't stop that, but we can stop ourselves breathing them in by wearing a respirator or some sort of mask with a filter. Just a simple mask like this that has a filter in the front. It will stop you breathing that shit in. So that will help in a certain respect. It is horrific. They are causing massive damage to the ecosystem. This is genocide on an epidemic scale. It is horrendously terrifying. For example, autism in the United States used to affect 1 in 100,000 boys. 5 years ago, it affected 1 in 48. I mean, that's a terrifying increase from 1 in 100,000 to 1 in 48, yeah? In 5 years. Now, this autism is at epidemic proportions. It's affecting 1 in 27 boys. 1 in 27. When 10 years ago, it affected 1 in 100,000. That is not a coincidence. It is being initiated deliberately. This is deliberate harm on your children. Deliberate harm on your babies in the womb. They have no choice. They're born with autism because this is initiating it. This is starting it. This is the outside initiator. It's not a disease. It's a fucking condition. A condition is something which has an outside influence which goes into the body, into the brain, and causes a problem. Whether it be autism, whether it be Parkinson's, whether it be Alzheimer's, whether it be trisomy 21 chromosome disorder, whether it be Down syndrome, there are lots of different horrible degenerative brain disorders, and they are all caused by this shit they're spraying. So wake up. Start to understand these things. Start to do some research. Start to be honest with yourselves. Start to be honest with your children. Get your children to speak to the teachers about this. Don't allow the teachers to teach your children about new cloud fucking types. There are new no cloud types, okay? The new cloud types are fucking chemtrails. They're all fucking poison, every single one of them. Don't allow teachers to indoctrinate your children into a false fucking narrative. Do not allow your fucking teachers to lie to your children. And do not be dishonest with your own children. Wake up, start to inform. Inform yourselves, inform everybody around you, including your fucking children. It's your responsibility as fucking parents. It's your responsibility as human beings and adults to do this. So, if I'm asked about geoengineering, I'll explain it to them. Yeah? Because people ask me questions. Not everybody's ignorant. Not everybody's fucking stupid. Not everybody's fucking ignoring this shit because they choose to. Because they choose to live their lives in ignorance. It was a much nicer place. The world's much safer and nicer if I choose to ignore it. I don't want to live my life in fucking fear. Well, this is the way the world is. The world's not a fucking nice place. Believe me, I'm a soldier. Ex-soldier. I can tell you the world's not a fucking nice place. Alright? I know. I've seen it. But you people need to fucking wake up. This shit that's happening now is real. And do not ever fucking think for a single fucking second that it's not happening, because it is. And you should be informing people about it. I'm going to start going out on the streets in Bournemouth. I'm going to start taking my fucking video camera with me. I'm going to start performing public interviews. I'm going to start asking people questions. I'm going to fucking start trying to get people to understand what's going on. And I'll explain it to them the best I possibly can. I understand these programs, okay? Okay, I understand the physics. I understand all the rest about it. I'm very well educated. You don't need to try and explain to me that this is this and this is that, and this doesn't happen because of this. Well, you can't, because I'm going to see straight through that shit. I'm a fucking very intelligent guy. Please don't try and fool me by sending stupid messages to my Facebook, to my YouTube channel, my videos. I get some stupid fucking comments there. You know what? I don't even bother answering those. I just block that person and report them to YouTube to YouTube admin, because YouTube admin will definitely block them if they see any derogatory comments, any comments which are insulting, whatever, YouTube will block them from using that channel again. So I'll never get any more hassle from them. So basically, I just block them and report them to YouTube admin. It's done, simple. You're not going to fuck with my YouTube channel. You might not like the videos, you might not like the language very much, but you know what? I don't give a fucking shit, because this is real, and there's one way to explain it, to get this into your fucking thick heads, that these programs are killing your fucking children. They're destroying the ecosystem. They are doing immeasurable damage to all life on the earth, but you still choose to ignore it and think, oh my God, our government would never do anything to harm us. Really? Okay, here's another thing. Do you understand what a false flag terrorist attack is? No? I'll explain it to you. A terrorist attack is a terrorist cell, which comes into this country, infiltrates our security, and causes a terror event. That is a terrorist attack. Okay? I understand terror attacks. I'm ex-military. Okay? But what a false flag terrorist attack is your government are initiating a false flag attack. All of the terrorists involved in these attacks are actors and actresses, and they've rehearsed and they've coordinated this attack to make it look like a terrorist attack when it is fucking not a terrorist attack. It is a false flag terrorist attack. Actually organised and perpetrated by your government, the government you fucking vote for. Yeah? You say, oh, Jeremy Corbyn's a fucking crazy man, fucking communist, whatever. He has some pretty good ideas. Do you really like the Conservative government at the moment? Really? Is that what you like? Fucking middle class England? Of course they fucking do, yeah? Because they're looking after middle class England. The Labour Party. The only reason that Jeremy Corbyn didn't get into power in the last general election is because 87% of his party voted against him. Because they're all fucking Conservative sympathisers. All of those politicians should be fucking ashamed of themselves. They're in the Labour Party and they didn't vote for their leader. That is fucking disgraceful. They should have been fucking sacked and kicked out onto the fucking street and sent to the fucking job centre to work in a fucking factory for 8 hours, 9 hours a day. It's disgraceful. Your government are starting these false flag terrorist attacks. Yep, they're doing it. They're doing it to you. You might not want to fucking believe it, but believe me, it's fucking true, and I can fucking prove it. And I will make a second video which will follow up to this, and I will explain how, why, what, and who are involved in these false terror attacks. People dying. So you think, oh, if people died, it must be a real terrorist attack. No, this is all part of their reason for doing this, to install fear in your society, so they can have a permanently armed presence on the streets. And once they initiate this permanently armed presence on the streets, this is the start of the control of the society that you live in. And if you're going to accept that, then there's something seriously fucking wrong with you. I am not going to accept a permanently armed presence on my fucking streets. Absolutely fucking not. And I'm not going to vote for a fucking government that will initiate false flag attacks against their own people. Okay? Look at 9/11. Do you think 9/11 was a terrorist attack? That's confusing. No, it was not a terrorist attack. It was a false flag terror attack initiated by the United States government, the federal agencies, the NSA, the FBI, the National Security Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Secret Service, and all the rest of the intelligence agencies, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, the US government, the President of the United States, Donald Rumsfeld, and all the rest of the cronies in the federal government initiated that attack on their own people to kill 3,000 American citizens in New York on 9/11 on that day. It was not a terrorist attack. There were no fucking Muslims involved. Wake the fuck up. Do you really think they were involved? No. There weren't even fucking any aircraft. They were fucking holograms, okay? You didn't hear any sound. Do you understand physics? Do you understand physics at all? Do you know how we hear sounds? We hear sounds because the air carries that sound. For example, if you were on the moon and your friend was sat next to you playing a fucking piano, you wouldn't hear a bloody thing because there's no air on the moon to carry that sound forward. On 9/11, they had the video cameras. They're looking up at the buildings. They saw the aircraft coming in. Well, they weren't aircraft. They were holograms. This is why. And there was no sound. At that altitude, it would have been 200 decibels plus. It would have been truly deafening, okay? But there was no sound. Just the image of an aircraft, because that's all it was. There was no aircraft there. There was no sound. If there were aircraft there at 200 decibels, you would have fucking heard that, believe me. Okay, 9/11 was a false flag terrorist attack initiated by the US government to kill 3,000 of their own fucking citizens. The Pentagon, for example. The Pentagon, 3 weeks before the attacks, I say the attacks that were initiated by the United States federal government, 3 weeks before that, trillions of dollars went missing from the Pentagon. Yeah? It's fucking strange, isn't it, that the Pentagon, the aircraft, By the way, there was no aircraft that hit the Pentagon. John Lear testified to that in the 9/11 hearings, although his testimony was never put in the final report for 9/11, as well as testimony from structural engineers, from demolitions experts, from the people that built the 9/11 towers, from architects, from all the professionals that put their evidence forward in the 9/11 report. Not a single shred of that evidence was put in the final report, because it would have pointed the finger and the finger of blame at the federal government, because they would have been found guilty of a crime against their own fucking people. What hit the Pentagon was a Tomahawk cruise missile. I've seen these fucking things. I know what they look like. It was hit by a Tomahawk cruise missile, not a fucking aircraft travelling at fucking 3 meters off the ground. Do you really believe that's possible? No. The best pilot in the world, John Lear, said it would be impossible to do that. He couldn't do it. And if he couldn't do it, I'm sure that them fucking idiots couldn't fucking do it. Alright? Any pilot. It was a Tomahawk cruise missile. And it hit the Pentagon, in specifically the place where all the computer banks are kept for the financial records of the Pentagon, and also where the trillions of dollars went missing would have been accounted for. How fucking convenient that it hit that fucking part of the Pentagon. They weren't after killing the people, they were after destroying the evidence. So don't think that any of these fucking attacks that you see around the world, in Paris, in Brussels, in Great Britain, all of these terror attacks in Scandinavia, in London, okay, they're all false flag terrorist attacks. We haven't got any fucking Al-Qaeda Muslims fucking tromping around our fucking streets with AK fucking 47s, okay? We haven't. They're in Afghanistan, Iraq, the Sudan, Syria. They're fucking protecting their own country. They've got much better things to do than come here and fucking drive vans through fucking people, for God's sake. They're protecting their own fucking country. The Middle East is being completely destabilised, and all this was initiated after 9/11, specifically for the arms companies to make hundreds of billions of dollars because war is fucking profitable. Okay? So after that, they started the wars again in Iraq and in Syria, in Afghanistan. They're illegal wars. We shouldn't fucking be there. We're just there basically to destabilise countries and to fucking steal their resources. That's all it's about, is making fucking money. Okay? That's all it's about. These wars are completely illegal and completely fucking unnecessary. And I'm sick and tired of them. It's fucking ridiculous. Young soldiers coming back in fucking body bags, 17 and a half, 18 years old. For what? What are they fighting for? Please, tell me. When I was a soldier, if there was a fucking conflict somewhere in the world, it was a conflict which was justified. These are not justified, okay? I hate this fucking shit. Fucking soldiers coming back with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. There are fucking thousands of fucking British soldiers on the fucking streets, homeless, destitute, no help, nothing. It's fucking disgraceful. They're given no psychological help. They're given no financial help. They're just fucking left on the fucking streets by a government that fucking sent them there in the first place to fight an illegal war. The government are inherently responsible for these individuals. Absolutely and unequivocally, and without any shadow of doubt, they should look after these people. I'm sick and tired of this government. I'm sick and tired of the totalitarian fucking rule in this country. It is beyond a fucking joke. You need to wake up, you need to look up, you need to research geoengineering, you need to research false flag fucking terrorist operations. You need to research all of this stuff. You need to research stratospheric geoengineering. You need to research solar radiation management. You need to research HARP in Alaska. Please, research. Wake up, do some research, understand what's going on with these programs, because it affects you, your children, your family, your friends, everybody. It affects the whole ecosystem. The ecosystem's collapsing. If this continues in the next 20-25 years, our ecosystem will no longer be able to tolerate all the shit that's being dropped out in these chemtrails. It's going to kill everything. Millions and millions of trees are dead. Hundreds of millions of trees are dying. Their root systems saturated with aluminium, barium and strontium, inhibiting their ability to draw water out of the ground soil. This is what's happening. Our ecosystem is collapsing. But you're sat in your fucking comfortable chair with your phone in your hand, on your fucking laptop, researching the internet, not fucking researching anything, and just being blind to everything. And if anybody turns around and says something to you about these programs, you just either start an argument or you flatly deny that it's happening without doing any research. And that is pure ignorance, ladies and gentlemen. And that's unbelievable ignorance. And I cannot understand your philosophy. I just cannot. All the people, for example, Robert Scott, if you don't know something about stratospheric geoengineering programs, you don't know about solar radiation management, you don't know about what the damage is doing to the human body, go onto the Watching Observer 76, okay? Go through Facebook, No doubt you've all got fucking Facebook. You spend half your fucking lives on it. Go onto the Watching Observer 76 and look at his fucking post. Look at his website. You will learn a hell of a lot from this guy. He knows fucking everything about this shit. Every single little bit about these programs. He can give you all the information you need. Drop him an email. He'll reply to you. He replies to everybody. He's a good guy. He's ex-military as well. Look, listen to these people. Do some research. Inform yourself and wake up. Okay, there's so much damage happening in the world now because of these programs. It is causing catastrophic damage. There are no natural weather systems anymore in the world. Zero. They've been completely fucking destroyed by stratospheric weather modification. Completely destroyed. The jet stream's been altered. Okay, the Gulf Stream temperature is altering. If that temperature in the Gulf Stream goes out of control, it will cause weather anomalies beyond your fucking imagination. Any fucking disaster film you've seen with weather, really bad weather, will be fucking 1% of what will happen. You have to understand how important the fucking Gulf Stream is and how it controls the Earth's climate. Do some research. Educate yourselves. Please, this is really important. Yeah, I do get angry. I get angry because I get sick and tired of the ignorance. I get sick and tired of receiving ridiculous fucking emails from people who turn around and say to me, "You're not a physicist, you don't understand the programs. These programs are not running. It's all a conspiracy. You're fucking just another tin hat wearing fucking lunatic." Absolutely I'm not. I'm very well educated. Okay? And I do understand these programs extremely well. And you can say what you like to me. You can try and disprove everything. But the only person you're lying to is yourself. It's as simple as that. Because you're not willing to open your fucking eyes like this. Because I'm like this. I see out here. You see like this. In a fucking straight line. Everything out here you just can't see. Or you flatly refuse to see. Whatever the case may be. But, whatever it is, you just refuse to see it. Which is absolutely ridiculous. You need to wake up. You need to look up. Start researching these programs. The damage it's doing. That it's killing all the bees. If the bees fucking die, and the mosquitoes die, and the insects die, there'll be no pollination, no plants, nothing in the breadbasket. Fuck all. Zero. The plankton die. What happens in the ocean when the plankton die? As well as losing 76.45%, I think, of the oxygen that we require to breathe on a daily basis, because that includes the bacteria in the ground soil as well, okay? They have a very important role. You think that fucking plankton don't produce oxygen? Okay, they produce more oxygen than all the trees and all the plants on the earth combined. They are vitally important for the air you breathe. So you need to understand this. The other thing you need to understand is that if these small organisms die, it will affect the life in the ocean, the fish, the whales, everything else. It just has one little thing will die, and that has a domino effect on all the other species in the ocean. What are you going to fucking eat? You're going to start fucking eating each other? That's all that'll be fucking left. There'll be no air to breathe. There'll be no vegetables, no fruit, nothing like this, because all the plants would have died because there's no pollination. The whole ecosystem will collapse. And when that collapses, we will be fucking extinct. A footnote in history. That's it. We'll be gone. And all the money that's been accumulated through the greed of these programs, because it's about financial greed, will be gone. It'll be there, sitting there, of course. All the gold reserves will still be there, sitting there. But at the end of the day, there'll be nobody there to fucking spend the money, because we'll all be fucking extinct. So, do me a favour, ladies and gentlemen. Start to research. And start to take the responsibility that you have as adults and parents to teach your children about what's happening in the world. Don't fucking shelter them from reality. It's unfair. They need to grow up and they need to understand what's going on in the world. So anyway, have a very nice evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been great talking to you. Please, wake up, do your research. And take care, guys.